Moving to a new country can be both exciting and challenging. For many migrants, the thought of moving to the United Kingdom holds the promise of a better life filled with opportunities for personal, financial, and professional growth. But in most cases, it is not always as straightforward as imagined. For many of these people moving abroad, they tend to feel like getting the visa is the biggest achievement, but in reality, it is just the beginning. Because for a lot of them, they are coming to a society where they would have to start life afresh. Literally, for many, it is completely a new life, different from what they are used to. For those back home hoping to move, they would look at their counterparts, wishing they were in that position. However, I found this data that is a bit concerning. Between April 2018 and March 2021, 45% of households in the UK had a weekly income of below £600 before tax. 23% of households had a weekly income of between £1,000 and £1,999. Now, 54% of black households were most likely out of all ethnic groups to have a weekly income of less than £600. In simple terms, more than half of households of black ethnicity earn a weekly income of £600 or less, which suggests to me a majority of us are still within the low income bracket. What can we do differently to change this? So I looked at all these things and it got me really thinking. And I was wondering, is it because we are immigrants or blacks living abroad? But at the same time, I saw the statistics for Indians living abroad as well. And it's quite different. The data really shocked me and I'm wondering, what could be the problem? So 41% of households in the Indian ethnic group were most likely to have a weekly income of £1,000 or more, compared to 22% of households of black ethnicity. This should get you thinking as well. What are the Indians doing differently that we are not doing? Now, this is not in any way to compare us to them, but I think it's time for us to focus on some things I believe is holding us back so that we can change our fortune and possibly grow as a community. So before I continue, this video is brought to you in partnership with Lemonade Finance. Lemonade Finance is an app that me and many of my friends and family regularly use to send money to Africa. As some of you may already know, Lemonade Finance allows Africans in the UK, US, and Canada to send money to 10 African countries. So you can send money to Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, Senegal, Ivory Coast, Cameroon, Benin, Tanzania, Uganda, and Rwanda at zero fees. Yes guys, you heard me, at zero fees. There are no hidden charges at all, and the recipient receives the money instantly. And guys, they have the best rates that you can find in the market, so you would always get your complete value for money. I've been using Lemonade Finance for a while now, and I can guarantee you that it's very fast, easy to use, and completely free when it comes to sending money back home. You can download the app with my referral link in the description box to get 10% cash back on your first transactions. You can also type in my code TOCHI if you've downloaded the app directly from the App Store. That way you get 10% cash back on your first transactions above £100. So if you send £100, you get £10 back. If you send £200, you get £20 back, and so on, capped at £50. How exciting is this news, guys? Hurry now, download Lemonade Finance app and begin to send money to Africa for free. And don't forget to use my code TOCHI. So now back to the video. We are here to basically look at why some immigrants are broke abroad and the things we can do to get better, progress, and grow our community, especially as blacks living abroad. Number one reason why I think some immigrants are broke living abroad is settling for less. Now, some people see moving abroad itself as the highest achievement of their lives, right? They don't see it as the beginning, because obviously you're going to start life afresh. You're moving to a new country. Sometimes you don't even know what the future holds for you, where you're going to. Most people sold all their properties back at home, you know, things like that. And then you move abroad to basically start life afresh, right? But some people see it as the highest achievement. They've moved abroad and that is it for them. So when they go abroad, they just settle for anything they see. They don't really care. They won't strive for more. They just go for any kind of job they can get, like survival jobs. So long as they get money, they can pay their bills, they can take care of their families back home, they are just fine. You will find out that people like this will live abroad 10 years, 20 years. At the end of the day, they really don't have anything to show for it outside the fact that they are abroad. So to these people, living abroad alone is the highest achievement for them. But we need to start thinking more than that. Moving abroad should just be the beginning of life. You should begin to think of how to grow in your career, what to do differently to be better than your uncle or auntie that moved abroad 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and have nothing to show for it. We should begin to set goals for ourselves, go for higher positions, try to integrate into the system, be more, right? You can be more abroad. Go into politics, do things differently, make a name for yourself. I recently came in contact with a woman who has gone into politics in the UK, and I was so amazed. I'm definitely going to bring her here to come and share her journey with you guys, for anybody who wants to go into politics in the UK. And she has her businesses as well. So she's an employer of labor in the UK. She became the first councillor of Black origin in St. Helens. So stories like this should actually inspire you. And honestly, if you're watching this video and you have done well for yourself living abroad, you are into politics, you have businesses, you're basically doing well, and you want to share your story, how you're doing it, how people can do it like you as well, please do well to reach out to me. I'll be very glad to have you here so you can share your story, inspire and motivate other people. What matters is that we learn something and begin to make progress. Number 2, lack of business plans and ideas. Now, the truth is, most of us just come into the UK and we just want to work, get a 9 to 5, you know, make money, pay our bills, take care of our responsibilities and all that. But we need to start thinking beyond that. We need to start thinking of businesses we can go to. And now, if you're thinking of businesses, okay, I need you to target excellence. Target a business that can service the locals, that can service everybody, that basically everyone can patronize, not just people like you. I'm not saying you can't do business for people like you, no. My point is, let's try to go into businesses that everybody can actually relate with, right? That way it will make more sense and you will make more money. And make sure you deliver quality, okay? Let it be up to standard, right? For instance, I remember going into some African stores and the place was nothing to write home about. So you would hardly see an English store like that. Like any English store that is basically made to service English people, you would not see it in a bad shape. It is always good. The toilets are always clean. Everywhere is good. There is safety, okay? But sometimes you enter an African store, you enter an African restaurant or a business owned by an African, and he's just there because he's servicing just Africans and he feels like anything goes. Right? There's no safety, the toilet is dirty, the environment is dirty. If it's a store, the prices of the things are not even on it. You have to go and ask them. But you won't see that in a store that's meant to service English people or service every other person, or a store owned by an English person. So if you're doing any business, make sure you do it to perfection. For instance, Indian restaurants are everywhere, right? You would even see English people from different parts of the country visiting Indian restaurants, eating their foods and things like that. So we should begin to learn from them. So if you want to do any business, right, start thinking about it, research on it, make sure you do it the right way by getting the certifications and registrations that you need so that you will actually be on the safe side. So it's always good to have a plan even before you move abroad, so that when you come into the UK or any part of the world at all, you will not struggle, you will just settle in perfectly. Number 3, Most immigrants abroad don't think about owning properties, right? Most people just prefer to, like I said, live and just get by every day, right? It's time for us to begin to think properties, because the truth is, getting on a property ladder is the best way to build wealth, right? So we must begin to think about investing in properties, buying houses, getting a mortgage, and stop paying rent as soon as possible. I've actually discovered that this is one of the reasons why Indians are actually doing well abroad. Let me show you guys this data I saw on gov.uk. 74% of Indian households were homeowners, a higher rate than white British households. So for white British households, it is 68%, and then for Black African, it is just 20% compared to Asians and Indians. Okay, so you can see the difference. So guys, you see, we can actually do better. Number 4, lack of mentorship programs like the I want to grow alone syndrome. This has to stop. We have to learn to begin to mentor ourselves, learn to teach people. If you've done a particular thing or gone a particular way and you did so well, you're excelling, learn to teach people the same thing so they can even do better. We as Blacks living abroad, we need to start doing better. We need to get it right. The truth is that Indians teach people about all these things. I remember when we were planning to move abroad, or when we were trying to do our research moving abroad, there were not so much Blacks, okay, teaching people or telling people, giving people information on how to move abroad, things to do and all that. We were only watching Indians who were doing these things and telling their people how they can move abroad, how they can settle in perfectly, things they can do and all that, right? So they've always been there teaching and mentoring people, telling their people how to go about it. Most of us got some of this information from Indians, right? This is one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing, to let you know that you can actually be anything or do anything, tell you about opportunities available, how you can move, things like that. If you have become a director somewhere before, or you have done something outstanding, tell people how to do it. Even if it's for a fee, you can do a discount just to teach people, because sometimes when you pay for something, you will value that thing very well. If you're buying a house, teach people how to do that. This is another reason why we had to come up here and tell people how we bought our house, how we saved up for it. The truth is, people have been buying houses here, right? But most people didn't really know it was possible. But I'm glad that as we came up here to share that these things are actually possible. You can do these things. You can buy a house if you put your mind to it, if you have a job, teaching people how you can actually go about it, how to save, things you can do, how the government can help you. And I'm so happy that a lot of people have actually shared testimonies of how they became homeowners just by watching us or just by hearing our testimony. And people are still in the process of buying their own houses just by watching that video. And that video will always be on YouTube, so anybody can watch it at any time, and you will know that it's possible to buy your own house, own your own house, get your mortgage in the UK. It's not that difficult. If you've started any business, you can tell somebody, okay, this is a booming business, please do something like this. It will help you. I have a video on businesses you can do in the UK as an immigrant. I'll link it in the description below. I will also make a video on how to register a business in the UK. Basically anything that can help you. So if you've gone through that route before, you have done something and you're excelling at it, teach people so they can do the same thing. Teach people so they can actually become employers of labor as well. Let's begin to grow our community. Let's begin to build wealth living in the UK. This is something that other people are doing, and that is why some of them are excelling more than us. Number 5, some people are just all about showing off and driving big cars, right? So that is all they think about. That is all that matters to them. Take good pictures, post on social media, drive big cars. If you're going on an event, you park your car, you feel like you have arrived. So that is all they really think about. We need to start thinking about becoming more living abroad, right? The current Prime Minister in the UK is not even an Englishman. So we need to be more, okay? We need to do more so that we can start hearing our names in places like that. We already know that black tax is another reason why it seems like most people are not doing so much, because they could have like lots of responsibilities back home, right? But beyond that, just understand that you can be more. See, you don't need to show anybody that you're successful. Just make sure that you're successful for yourself and be genuinely happy. You don't need to prove anything to anybody. Understand that. Right? So start making connections, start doing the right thing, start pressing the right buttons, start reading, researching, and let us be more. We need to collectively work on these things if we must do well as a Black community living abroad. Now, I want to hear what you guys genuinely think about this in the comment section. Leave your opinions, okay, your thoughts. I want this to be like a conversation. We need to collectively work on this, all right? Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to share this video, like it so YouTube can recommend it to more people. And I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye-bye.